And it seems to have a very strong squad of horses we've just seen there on their way to Cheltenham, particularly the younger brigade, headed of course by Grumeti in the Triumph Hurdle.
Yeah, younger horses have progressed very well this winter, and you know, they've come through their trials pretty much the way we hoped. So excited about them.
I was interested to hear that you followed him quite a lot on the flat. Why was that? Did he appeal to you then as a possible good hurdling type?
Yeah, I mean, he was owned by the Thurlow Syndicate, and I also trained for them. So although this horse was with Michael Bell, I had followed him through the summer, and I kept saying to James Stafford, I think we should have him for the Triumph, but you know, he had to be sold at the end of the flat season, so I was in a fortunate position to be able to buy him.
Has he surprised you at all by what he's achieved so far?
Well, we're delighted with the way he's gone. I'm not saying I'm surprised, because we did hope he was going to be a very useful juvenile. I mean, we gave a lot of money for him, so it's not been the greatest shock now.
He looks a real ball of muscle, I suppose typical of one of those from the flat, unlike your other Triumph horse, Ball of Success. Yeah,
Ball of Success never ran on the flat. We bought him after he won an Auteuil. As you say, different types, but he's pretty powerful as well. Wouldn't be quite as tall as Grumeti, but he's done nothing wrong. He's unbeaten in his 4. He's an exciting young horse.
Ball of Success improves on the inside. Captain
we went back to Ascot a fortnight ago, where I hoped he would win, and he didn't just win, he completely routed them. He's done all his winning on soft ground, but again, a little bit like Vender, he's extremely good at good action horse. So I see no reason why he shouldn't go on decent or better ground. I think we're in a very lucky position to have 2 really good 4-year-olds, and I've trained plenty of them in the last few years, and they would be right up with the best of them, really. Nothing phases them. I think they're pretty high class, and we'd look forward to it.
Is nimble and spring-heeled over it from Captain Sunshine, who stayed on into second place. But this unbeaten juvenile, Alan King's had a really excellent couple of days, as indeed has Robert Thornton, this horse who holds entries in the Supreme and the Triumph, has made it 4 out of 4. In second, Captain Sunshine, who stayed on.
Yeah, exciting young horse, as of course is Montbazon as well, who gets things underway in the Supreme.
Starts off on Tuesday. Be a little bit different. He wouldn't be quite the finished article yet, still a little bit making up to do, but he's improving all the time, he's learning all the time, and we've been very happy with these last 2 or 3 runs.
You say that good ground's best for him. Usually on the first day it's on the softer side. Is that a concern at all?
No, I mean he's run very well on testing ground, but I don't think it's going to be testing, but I think he just handles better ground.
Another one that particularly appeals, and it seems to have a glint in your eye when you talk about him, is Vendor.
Yeah, again, he's only had the 1 run in this country, one at Newbury, a decent form in France. We think he's very good on what we see at home, and I hope and think the handicapper has underestimated him. We don't usually say that, but I'd be disappointed if he's not better than his rating.
And how would you compare him with the likes of your 2 for the Triumph? Is he a similar type?
Well, he's a big, tall, rangy horse again, and with a future, but he would work as well as them. I couldn't quite believe it when the handicapper came out with 1-2-2 following the Newbury run, and we decided that we would not run him again, protect the mark. He has gone up 7 standing in the stable, but he's still on a mark, on a 1-2-9. I'd be very disappointed if he's not a whole lot better than that.
And of the horses that you've got, which one do you think gives you the best chance of success? I know it's the old chestnut, but I've got to ask.
Well, I think on the handicap, as I said, I'd be disappointed if Vendor's not better than his mark, so we'll probably plump for him.
I don't know if you saw the Racing Post this morning, big headline in the betting page there, 25-1, top trainer at the Cheltenham Festival. There's not really a lot more you can say.
I'm not saying anything to that, no. I hope they're right. Looking at the weights yesterday, because of his weight for age, he's 9 pounds, he looks pretty unlikely to get in the Martin Pipe, which probably would have been his best race for him, but he's a long way down. The Fred Winter, I would be very nervous of 2 miles for him. I'd love to run him somewhere, and I would think it could well be the Neptune. We'll let him take his chance. He would actually get an extra 4 pounds from Batonier from his last run. But as I say, we'll keep all options open with him. Batonier, We decided to let him take his chance in the graded race at the end of January. His homework on the run up to that had been very good. Again, he settled well at the rear and came through very smoothly. Quickened up to beat horse and Nicky's that, although he was injured, I think he thinks an awful lot of. He's got an entry in the Coral Cup, but 99% certain that he'll run in the Neptune. Again, he's very much a good ground horse, so if the forecast is right, I think that would suit him. And he's an interesting runner. He's got to improve again, really, in what he did, but he's giving every indication at home that he certainly hasn't gone backwards. And he's just a horse that seems to have sort of found his form and gained a bit of confidence. I was thrilled with him in October, and then he threw a splint, went lame, and it took quite some time, probably 1 to 6 weeks before he came sound again. So his debut was delayed until Ascot. He ran at a very impressive winner of a handicap hurdle there. Went up, I think 7 or 8 for that, and went back to Ascot a fortnight ago, and just failed to give Donald McCain's horse £29. It was a smashing run.
And it's Bourne who leads on the approach down towards the last. From Smad Place in second, Swincoln Flame. This is the final flight, and Bourne is over in front. Smad Place leaves a trailing leg in second place. Off up the run-in. It's Bourne for Henry Brook and Donald McCain and the Timeform Betfair Racing Club, who are going to prevail. They're scuttling away. Overcame an early error to win by 4 lengths. It's Bourne who wins. In second place, Smad Place in third.
He's been raised again for that, so I can't really see him winning a Coral Cup. He's got 11 stone 12 on that. We have left him in, but I think if he goes to Cheltenham, it'll probably be for the World Hurdle. It'll be his first try at 3 miles, but again, I think he's probably crying out for a little bit of a step up and trip. My only slight concern would be that we wouldn't risk him if the ground was fast. Ideally, he'd want a little bit of rain, and he's a horse that I certainly want to mind a bit for next season. I think he's going to be a high-class novice chase prospect. He only has the 1 entry. He's in the county, and I think the stiff track at Cheltenham will actually help him. The surprising thing for both the big handicaps he's running this year is the lack of pace, very unusual, and I'm sure he wants a strong run race. I think the hill's going to suit. While he might not be handicapped to win a county anymore, you'd be disappointed if he wasn't sort of in there with a shout going to the last. I'd like to think he's very competitive. And he's one horse that's certainly benefited from earplugs. He races in his earplugs, and they've calmed him down no end. We won at Wincanton last Saturday over 2 miles 6. It was pretty impressive in a handicap. Went up 12 for that. I see they've got him sort of favourite, a joint favourite for the Martin Pipe, but I think he's almost certain going to run in the Albert Bartlett over 3. I think especially on good ground, I think he probably wants 3 miles. Like quite a few of them you've seen, he's the most laid back of horses. Very straightforward to train. Won't mind the ground, and he'll certainly be staying on at the finish. This lad's got an entry. He's not certain to run Torphichen. He's in the Martin Pipe. He's due to go to Sandown on the Saturday before for the Imperial Cup. We'll get that out the way. If anything silly happened, or if he happened to run out a winner, then we might well let him take his chance. But we'll go to Sandown first.